Hey guys, my name is Courtney Thompson. I was fortunate to play on the USA team for 10 years and got to compete in 2 Olympics, helping my team win a silver medal in London and a bronze medal in the Rio Games. And since then, have been working as a mindset coach. So this section is about training your mind in the same way that we train our skills and our craft on the court. And in this program, you guys are trained to have world-class movement patterns, to keep your elbows straight when you're passing, to finish aggressively as you're setting, to have the right footwork, going slow to fast on your approach when you're hitting. And this is about having world-class thought patterns and world-class responses when things get tough. And we can train our minds to help us rather than get in our way, so that in these moments of challenge and unknowns and competition, when we're feeling a lot of excitement, we can have a command of mind to really focus on what's most helpful in the moment. So I'm really excited to dive into this with you guys. One of the mindset skills we want to talk about today is how to train confidence. How can we generate confidence in any environment? And I want to start by you guys writing down 2 situations in your life that most of the time when you're in, you feel pretty confident in. I also want you to write 2 situations in your life that you wish you could be a little bit more confident in more often. And I want you to take about 30 seconds to just look at the 2 and think about what is the difference between these moments that we can generate confidence and these moments that it's a lot more challenging. Some of the things that might come up for you are, I have more experience in this. I've practiced more, so I trust myself to execute these skills in any environment. I've had past success in this skill, and all of those are really important. But if you've ever watched high-level athletes, oftentimes they're the best in the world and they've had a ton of success. And for a lot of you, I'm sure you've been in moments where you've had success and you still are in this moment of challenge or in another competition and you can't quite get to something that feels confident. And so all of those things, mastery of craft and practicing and experience, are really important. But what it comes down to for us is that if we're in those moments and we're still thinking of what could go wrong, or our thoughts go to, am I going to be good enough? I don't know if I have what it takes. And we're in this critical or doubtful thought pattern. None of that stuff tends to matter. And all of a sudden we feel like we've never done this before. We don't have what it takes. And so the skill that we want to train, if we want to be confident in any environment, is really self-talk. How well are we coaching ourselves moment to moment? And can we coach ourselves moment to moment in a way that gives us the best chance to bring our best? And no matter where we are, no matter who we're playing, no matter what the circumstances, whether you're competing in volleyball, you're taking a test, you're going on a first date, you're going on a first job interview, like whatever that might be. And confidence is not an external thing. We get in trouble when we outsource our confidence to how well we do, winning and losing, what other people say and think. None of that we can control. Confidence is an internal thing, and we have an opportunity to generate confidence in any environment, and that's what this work is all about. So when it comes to training self-talk, there's really 3 areas that we can be in. We can be in a negative self-talk frame of mind. So this is doubt. I don't know if I'm good enough. This is self-critique. You're an idiot. I can't believe you did that again. Pessimism. Oh, this is never good for me. This isn't going to work out. How many times have we seen a team come in and they're all 6'5", and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a rough one, right? So we all know what it feels like to be in a negative frame of mind. We can also be in a positive frame of mind where it's like, I got this. I'll figure it out. This doesn't mean you're going to win. This means you're saying things like, I'm a good learner. I can make one play. I can do difficult things. I can adjust. I had a bad warm up, but I know I can adjust and I can finish strong today in practice or in a game. Right? So we can index on things that are more productive to think about. And that's what happens when we're in positive mind. We can also be in this flow state. So I don't know if you guys have ever experienced flow or know what this feels like, but this is like when nothing else in the world matters, right? And you're just, you're completely locked into the present moment, so much so that there's not really thoughts. There's this kind of merging of action and awareness. So if you guys have ever been competing, and it feels like the whole match went by in like 2 minutes and you almost don't remember anything, right? That might be an indication that you're kind of in a flow state. Or if you've played a match and you can recount the points and it almost felt like it was in slow-mo, like time gets distorted, that might be an indication you are in flow state. So what we know is that being in this state of no mind, when we're not really having conscious thoughts, it's the most optimal state we can be in as humans. This is when performance is at its highest, creativity is its highest, joy is at its highest. So this is like when it's really, really, really fun to compete. The challenging thing is that what do you guys do if I say, hey, stop thinking about thinking, right? You just start thinking. And the minute we're like in the zone or we're in flow and we're like, oh, sweet, I'm in flow. We're no longer in flow. So it's this really slippery thing. And what we can do though, is if we hang out long enough in positive mind, because in positive mind, we're in the present moment, then we can slip in and out of flow state. We can't go from negative mind to flow state, because when we're in negative mind, we're adding judgment on whatever experience we're having. So it's taking us either in the future or we're still angry about the past, but we're not in the present moment where excellence takes place, where all the good stuff happens. And so for you and me, day to day, how we train confidence is we become more aware of when I'm in negative mind. And then without judgment, like, oh, that's not really helpful. Let me get to something that's more productive in this moment. Let me get to something that's present moment. And if I can hang out in the present moment long enough, focusing on the opportunity, focusing on what's most helpful in that moment, then I can slip in and out of the zone. And so if we do that, that's when we're going to be most confident, and we're also going to perform better and for sure have a lot more fun. Okay, so we've touched on this idea of generating confidence from being able to have self-talk that helps us be in the present moment. How do we do that? One thing we want to do ahead of time, which we would call front loading, is something we call the epic thought chart. So this is really about exposing thought patterns that are no longer helpful. And the interesting thing about confidence, I don't know if this resonates with you guys, but often successful athletes are really critical of themselves. So if I were to ask you, how many of you are more critical than you are productive in your own self-talk? I'm guessing a lot of you would raise your hand. And that's normal, because it's a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of OCD. I never want to feel that again. I don't want to get beat again. That inspires us to go train and motivates us to go do these difficult things. Now, if I were to ask you to tell me what it was like to play during the best match of your life, what was your inner dialogue? And now I'm guessing in those moments, you weren't very critical. If you made a mistake, you were just excited about the next play or focusing on the opportunity to fix it, rather than beating yourself up. And so self-critique can get us really good. It's not going to help us get to that top 10, 20% of our ability. So if you want to be your best more often, it's really helpful to have productive self-talk. Now, that's what we want to do day to day. How do we front load this skill? How do we get good at this skill? And one of the ways we do that is by, again, this epic thought chart and exposing thought patterns that are no longer helpful. So if you could go ahead and write 4 columns down. And in this first column, I want you to head it destructive thought. And under that, I want you to write one negative thought that you've had that doesn't help you. This could be things like, I'm not good enough. I'm an idiot for making that mistake. I can't believe I did that again. The coach is never going to pick me. This is never going to work out. I'm not tall enough. I'm not fast enough, whatever it might be. So what is one negative thought that is no longer helpful for you? And in the second column, I want you to title it, is this 100% true? And is it helpful? So oftentimes when we get in negative mind, the emotional centers of our brain take over and we can no longer see things objectively. So this second column is just meant to help us create a little bit of space to see if this is actually true. So if my negative thought is I'm unprepared, right? Maybe I didn't have enough time to practice, or I'm coming off the bench and I'm a little bit cold, or I didn't study enough for that test. My negative thought is I'm unprepared. I want to ask myself, is that 100% true? Most of the time, the answer to this is probably no. In this scenario, let's say you didn't prepare for the test, and I am unprepared. If the answer is yes, then I want to ask myself the next one, is it helpful? So yes, I'm unprepared, but no, it is not helpful for me to just ruminate on this over and over. Now in this third column, I want you to write down, to title it productive thought. So what is one productive thought that you could have in this moment that would be more helpful for you than your destructive thought? So again, if I'm unprepared, is it 100% true? Yes. Is it helpful? No. A more productive thought I could have is that I can adjust. Well, I know I could have prepared better. I could have done this, but here I am in this moment, and I know I can adjust and figure something out. Or I can do difficult things. Or I'm a great learner. I'm going to learn something today. All of those are more productive than that original negative thought. And lastly, I want you to write the top of the fourth column, back it up statements. So this is really the meat and potatoes of this exercise. So for every one destructive thought, I want you to write down 3 back it up statements that give you the right to believe that productive thought in the heat of the moment. So this would be, for my example, 3 moments where things didn't start well, but I adjusted. And by the end of it, I either learned something, I went for it, or I had success, right? So the back it up same column doesn't mean everything went perfectly. This just means that I've earned the right to go for it. And so the more specific we are, the better. So I could say something like, man, in 2020, I played a match and I was really bad the first 2 sets and we lost. And we were down 0-2, and then I reset and I came back and we ended up winning in 5, and I finished the match really strong. So that is one really specific time that I know I've earned the right to believe I can adjust. And yesterday in practice, I had a really bad warm-up. And instead of giving up the day, I said, I'm going to get something out of it. And I continued to fight, and it wasn't the best practice ever, but I learned something. I can adjust. So again, we want these to be specific. For every one destructive thought, we want to have 3 back it up statements that give you the right to believe that productive thought in the heat of the moment. So we've done this work up front of our epic thought chart. And so going into a match or a game, I already have a productive thought to anchor to, because there's never a game that things are going to be easy or that I'll play perfectly. There will always be ups and downs and mistakes made. So if I've front loaded the thought that I'm going to anchor to already, I can go into that match prepared to not be rattled by the ups and downs, but really feel confident that I can figure this out. And true confidence, again, comes from ourselves and our ability to coach ourselves well moment to moment. So let's train our self-talk with the same intensity that we train all the skills on the court. I think it's going to help your performance. I also think you'll have way more fun in the process of pursuing your best.